What follows light and shadow is silence. That silence breaks. I am summoning you as a new age begins.
This video is specifically meant for regular players of Destiny 2 who have not bought the new expansion on day 1 due to the numerous issues surrounding the game and the studio right now. If you just want to know whether the Edge of Fate expansion is worth the asking price or not, the short answer after playing the campaign is yes. I felt just the campaign itself was worth the asking price, and there's of course even more content on the way. You're more likely to enjoy it if you don't go in expecting an experience on the same level as the Final Shape or the Witch Queen. Both those campaigns were so good only because we built up to those stories for multiple years. Edge of Fate is the start of a new multi year story, and predictably, it offers more questions than answers. So, as long as you keep your expectations in check, there is a good chance that most Destiny veterans will enjoy the narrative here. If you are a new player, this video might not be too useful to you because while this expansion is the start of a new story arc, it is still not the ideal expansion to welcome new players into the franchise. I'm not sure if there is a new onboarding experience for new players right now, apart from the portal screen, but with a large chunk of the original story still not fully playable within the game, I can't really recommend this game for new players at this point. Now, let's talk about the campaign for Edge of Fate. I'm not reviewing the entire expansion, one, because the new raid isn't out yet at the time of recording, and two, because like every other Destiny 2 expansion, you can't really get the full experience until around midway through the expansion's lifecycle when all the secrets have been discovered and all the time dated content has been released. This video talks specifically about the core campaign experience, which, after the Witch Queen, has become something to look forward to on day 1 of a new expansion. This time, we are sent off to a new planetoid called Kepler, where a black hole has been spotted. There's a risk that this black hole will suck everything into itself and consume the entire Sol system, so of course the Vanguard wants us to get involved and prevent that. But that sounds like kind of a weak concept for a Destiny story, so Bungie brought in some more sci fi goodness by involving the Nine, a mysterious faction of multi-dimensional entities whose motives are not entirely known. The story starts off by showing Orin, the emissary of the Nine, who we've been interacting with since 2017, resigning from her job and starting to look for new opportunities. We later meet Orin on Kepler, and since she's free from her regular 9 to 5, she decides to help us check what's going on with that black hole. We are also joined by a new character called Lodi, who has been on Kepler for a few weeks before us, and his backstory is kind of a huge spoiler, so I won't go too deep into that. But I will say that, at least for now, he seems to be a well written character and a definite improvement over Nimbus from Lightfall. Once all the major players have been introduced, we go around Kepler performing various maintenance tasks at different reactors, laboratories, and other facilities. The Elixni and the Vex are the two major factions that we'll be fighting against, and the final boss of the story, while introduced to us in the first mission, is a bit underwhelming. To be fair though, we just fought against the Witness, so any villain after that is going to seem weak and ineffective for a while. That was it about the story without going into many spoilers. For an expansion whose job it was to set up the next few years of Destiny, I felt it did okay. There were a couple of cinematic cutscenes that really took me by surprise, and I have no complaints whatsoever about the presentation of the story, especially when compared to what we had to sit through in Lightfall. The other important part of any expansion is the gameplay. The Edge of Fate is currently getting a lot of mixed reviews due to one reason. The gameplay features a lot of this.
Well, this sure is new. All your vitals appear to be in order, but your molecules are moving unbelievably fast.
The ball mechanic is definitely overused throughout the campaign. Even missions that were designed to introduce other gameplay mechanics feature the ball, which is called Matter Spark in the game. While I did get annoyed by this too, I chose to focus on the other gameplay mechanics, which felt like they redeemed the overall experience. Those two other mechanics are the Metamorph and Relocator abilities. The Relocator ability is the one which wasn't shown off in detail during the marketing, and I found it quite enjoyable, so I won't spoil it here either. The Metamorph ability, meanwhile, was discussed a little bit during the dev streams, so I will show a brief glimpse of it here. It involves morphing the environment to create new platforms. While it felt just fine, eventually it was another attempt at environmental modifications which didn't work out so well with stasis. Remember how they hyped up creating stasis crystals during Beyond Light? That didn't turn out to be too game changing, and I don't think Metamorph will make much difference either. However, when seen just within the wrapper of a campaign experience, yes, I felt that it was enjoyable. In fact, if the Matter Spark or ball mechanic had been toned down just a little, I think the gameplay would have been a lot more enjoyable. As it stands now, however, your enjoyment of the gameplay will depend on your tolerance level for the ball mechanic. To wrap it up, I feel this is a good campaign overall. There are a few performance issues that will be patched soon, but no amount of patches can change the fact that this is a campaign where you will be told a pretty decent story while playing around as a ball for most of the time. And that will be the factor that will decide the fate of the Edge of Fate expansion. Thanks for watching.
My will is my own.